transfer the dogs over to here so they can be near me in another safe spot. Here's my little project. Here's where I had hoped to save a few plants from the goats. They went right through my fence. They went right through my barbed wire to get to the natives. Anyway, again, yeah, a couple of hints of the weeds not being quite as bad. This is an area that I put down a bunch of leaves and other stuff. I'm going to clear this out so that the ground squirrels and other animals have at least one place that they can hang out without being stabbed by Italian thistle. I'm trying to clear out a spot on the log for the dogs to hang out, and you can see that a lot of these dangerous seeds are already at this stage, while right next to it you have them green. So that goes to my point earlier. You just don't know when the threat begins. See that? That's one of the city's trucks, one of the Park Service trucks. It reminds me how much different it is with the vegetation growing on the branches, which has been one of the big points I've made throughout all of my videos. As a wild animal, you don't want to be seen. You want to be able to hide, whether you're hiding in order to not be eaten or because you're trying to eat something else that doesn't see you. But all that's just destroyed when the goats come through here. This is just open. It just all gets opened up. None of this exists. None of it in the background exists. It's just opened up. I can see everyone going by on that path over there. You know, that city worker, whom, by the way, I'm sure is just spraying weeds on the side of a road, the path that they've unnecessarily built. You know, they're never doing anything to try and help the habitat other than allow goats to come through and eat the native plants. I mean, when I, as a human being, feel exposed, imagine how wildlife feel. They certainly don't want to be seen by a human. I don't even want to be seen by a human. Okay. Well, thanks to the work I did earlier in the year, I at least have a spot to change my shoes without being stabbed by the invasives. Feet got kind of wet walking through the creek. But again, where I've put in a little bit of effort are the only spots where any progress has been made whatsoever, which brings me back to why we don't ever see the Park Service out here hands-on doing work. Some of you who might be interested in whether or not the claims I'm making about how much time I've put into this project might be wondering if I've consulted the experts or the city or the Park Service. I have, and every single time it starts with them pretending like they are going to help and saying that they, oh sure, we have the scientific paper, sure, we've done some studies, and it always ends in them just going quiet. Find another place for you to go. No, that's not that impressive. It was a pain in the ass to get out of the ground, though. There we go. It's the sound of the smart people getting rid of fallen wood. I don't know what nature ever did before humans showed up to deal with falling branches. Man, nature's so stupid. never see those people out here doing this. You'll never see them out here doing what I'm doing. Why does our focus start with native plants? Even if you have a good point about killing or thinning out the native plants, come back and talk about that when you've gotten rid of this. Oh, look at this. As I remove the wall barley and the ripgut brome, one of my experimental plants is here. Hummingbird mint. That's not going to survive, unfortunately. It's going to just get cooked alive here. I talk about a manageable project, starting with a manageable space so that you can feel a sense of accomplishment rather than a sense of despair. Because this spot, even though I didn't really maintain it, is way closer to being accomplishable than any area that didn't get any help. It matters, you know? I'm almost done with the Italian thistle already. Sure, I've got the other weeds to deal with, but you don't think that that's a huge deal, that there's only a handful of Italian thistle for me to pull up here? You can't say that about anywhere else. You can't say that about anywhere else out here. Yes, the invasive plants are going to keep trying to come back, but did it get better? It absolutely got better. It absolutely became more manageable because of one person with volunteer time using his hands, not a $100,000 goat grazing program that just comes through here like a plague and turns us into a graveyard, only for this to happen again. Like I said, manageable projects. What I'll do today is finish grabbing the Italian thistle that's in here. It's pretty hot, having to hide in the shade. But you don't do everything in one sitting. I'll come back earlier. I keep imagining getting confronted by someone who works for the Park Service or something. It's just so weird that I couldn't actually tell them that I'm here pulling invasive plants to try and help, because they're not on board with it. Just leave it to the goats. Leave it to our taxpayer draining program that never gets us closer to a solution, and yet everybody gives it the thumbs up. There's more there than it looks. I mean, that's a thick pile. Yeah, see, my foot didn't sink in. That is stacked top to bottom with invasive plants. I took a quick shot like this as I arrived, didn't I? How much different does it look? I don't remember if I took a very good shot of this before I got started, but that's progress. That's absolutely progress. And I left behind the miner's lettuce and the oak sapling, the hummingbird mint, another sapling. The amount of ripgut brome is reduced, but maybe the most important thing is the Italian thistle has been knocked out of this area. Now I can move on to the next target species. And then on to the... Oh, look at that. Fantastic. Some poison oak starting there.